Hi everybody. So we are at day 22 of my YouTube diet project. Come on, Sassy. You can do it. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, well, you need some help? There we go. Okay. Everybody needs a little help sometimes. So this past week, another challenging week, but I met the challenge, so I'm really proud of myself. Sometimes when it starts to get really difficult for me, I conduct little therapy sessions with myself because I can't afford actual therapy. And I started thinking, why I have these fear responses to rejection and why I think my fat is a layer of protection. And I started digging through my memory banks, and I was reminded of something when I was younger. I was a freshman in high school, and I auditioned for a play. It was Alice in Wonderland, one of my favorite stories ever. I go to the audition, and they had me read for Alice. Now, I actually wanted to be the Queen of Hearts, because I've always kind of identified with the villain. But they had me read for Alice, and I do a somewhat decent British accent, and in my mind, Alice is British. So that's what I did, and they liked that. They had me read for Alice, I believe, 6 times. That's the only part they had me read for, with the accent, without the accent. I left that audition with a pretty confident feeling. Stop that. So later that night, I get a phone call from the director, and he says, "Hey, you had a great audition. How would you like to be the Mock Turtle?" Okay, yeah, sure, that sounds great. He's like, "Well, I know you're in choir, I know you sing, and the turtle has a singing part. Fine, that sounds great. I'm a freshman, so just getting cast was pretty cool for me. But it was still weird. I'm like, I don't understand. Whatever. Take what you can get in the theater." So, about a week goes by. Now, my father was the athletic director at my high school. So some information got back to him why I didn't get Alice. Apparently, there was a line, I believe in the first act, where she eats the cookie or drinks the drink or whatever, and she says, "Oh, I'm getting bigger." And the director and the people in charge of casting were very concerned that a larger girl saying that line would elicit a negative response. So they didn't want to risk that. First of all, that was probably not a good idea to tell a 14-year-old girl that, it was her body that didn't get her the part. Just by the nature of being 14, you're already pretty body conscious. But it amazes me what the brain does without you knowing it to process certain types of information. So I think what happened with that little event was, first of all, I didn't have to be Alice, who was in pretty much every scene and carried the whole show. So I never had to find out if I was actually going to be capable of pulling that off. Fat protected me from a potential failure. But there's a weird dichotomy that happens with that. It gives me protection so that my ego doesn't get too damaged, but when I do succeed at something, it's despite the fact that I'm overweight, so the ego gets a little boost. So the brain says, "Hey, this is working out, so we're just going to keep doing this." But it's not working out. It's not a healthy behavior. And trying to change eating habits that are directly tied to coping mechanisms that you have been perfecting for the last 2 decades, that is not an easy task. And that's what I've been trying to overcome for these last few weeks. And really, she is distracting me. I hope she's not distracting you guys. But anyway, just kind of digging through those memory banks and trying to suss out where these behaviors come from. And that's really helpful in trying to stop unhealthy behaviors. And that's really helped me this past week. It makes me wonder what other events and, things that have happened in the past have triggered psychological responses that I wasn't aware of until, it's kind of too late because the damage is done. And sometimes these things are positive and sometimes they're not. This one was not. But I'm working to correct that. But it's a conscious effort, and it's not easy. So real quick, because I think this one's running kind of long, let me give you an update. Last week, I was at, I believe, 259. This week, I am at 255. So that is 4 pounds gone, making a total of 12 pounds over the last 3 weeks. Could not be more excited and motivated to continue this. Again, thank you everybody who comments and watches and shares and likes and subscribes. It means more to me than you can possibly know. So, thanks again, and I will check in with you guys next week.